Paramount Skydance shares trading higher. The company reporting its first quarterly results since that merger. Paramount saw growth in its streaming division and raised its cost-cutting target from $2 billion to $3 billion, also planning to raise streaming prices in early 2026. Joining us right now with more on those results is Robert Fishman. He's MoffettNathanson's senior research analyst. Good morning to you. How much you focused on what you heard from David Ellison last night as it relates to the earnings themselves, some of the cost-cutting measures and the like, versus whatever you think the future of their effort to buy Time Warner Discovery is?
Yeah, good morning. So clearly the company laid out their three North Stars in terms of supersizing the investment and really investing behind the creative engine. We've already seen some of those deals like UFC and South Park. The second one being the DTC streaming and getting to global scale. And third, that you mentioned in terms of the efficiencies. But ultimately, we think that the three of these North Stars really will be accelerated by a deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. And I think that's what investors are clearly still looking towards.
And what is your expectation in terms of a price tag that you think the investor class in Paramount would feel comfortable with buying in to Warner Brothers Discovery?
So that's the ultimate question there. And really, I think what it comes down to is how many bidders is going to be at the table for these Warner Brothers assets. Clearly, there's a lot of really great premium IP when you start down the list of the Warner Brothers studio, including DC Comics. Obviously, HBO is one of their crown jewels. And if you think about including the cable networks, that brings some sports portfolio along with other assets. So when you think of what the combined bid of that is going to be for Paramount, if they're bidding on the entire company, you're going to have to pay a significant premium to even where the current levels are for Warner Brothers Discovery.
So, Robert, you know, the current bid, as we understand it, is $23.50 per share for Warner Brothers Discovery. At what number is there a revolt? That is actually the real question. In terms of at what number does the shareholder of Paramount say this is a great deal, and at what number do they say this is just too much?
Well, the terms of how they get there, I think, are almost more important in terms of what the number is, because obviously, if you do have the backing of Larry Ellison and potentially even other private equity bidders, what the dilution will be to the Paramount public shareholders today could be more limited. So it's a hard question to answer because we don't yet know the terms. If the full underwriting is going to be from the Ellison family, obviously that helps the public shareholders on the Paramount side digest that potential deal and pay even more, including if there is a bidding war for some of the assets or all of the assets, depending on who that ultimate bidder is.
Okay, so if you're a betting man, and we have a lot of folks who are watching right now trying to figure out how to bet this, handicap this situation, do you see a scenario in which David Zaslav, who runs Warner Brothers Discovery, is able to get, we'll call it the equivalent of $30 a share, which seems to be the magic number that people keep talking about? And when I say the equivalent of, either a complete takeout at $30 a share for the entire company, or something that resembles $30 insofar as one buyer, potentially even a Comcast parent company in this network, or somebody else buying the streaming HBO piece of it and the studio piece of it, and then matching that with whatever value you think is in the legacy business that's being spun off, and effectively telling shareholders that this is worth the equivalent of $30.
Yeah, so we think a $30 per share bid for Warner Brothers Discovery is definitely achievable, even more so when you have that plus one bidder. And so it aligns so perfectly with the Paramount assets when you think about the studio overlap. Clearly, in terms of their goal to get to DTC streaming scale, the way to do that is put it together with an HBO Max, because that will very much accelerate their timeline to get there. As a standalone service, they are still subscale today, even with the investments that they've made. So we think that the alignment with the assets on the Paramount side are very natural. You mentioned Comcast. I mean, clearly there's a lot of alignment there. So we think as long as you have a +1 bidder in this process, and you might be more than +1, you could get to that $30 mark.
Who's your +2,
higher.
Robert? Who's your +2?
Well, the question that's been thrown around is Netflix or any other digital player really going to go in on this asset and make a significant bid? We think all of the companies right now are clearly looking at this asset, as they should, because it is such a unique asset and probably a once-in-a-lifetime type of opportunity. But at the same time, can they all bid? That becomes a different question. So we think that there will be a +1, most likely Comcast, but still waiting to see if Netflix and others are willing to write a big check here.
Real quick before I let you go, Disney, YouTube, Google, of course, parent company of YouTube, Alphabet, parent company of Google. What do you make of this fight and what's happening here?
It's a really unique moment in time because the leverage between the two is up for debate, right? Because clearly having the backing of Alphabet and the parent company behind it allows YouTube to focus on their long-term goals, and their long-term goal seems to be paying less right now for the content. On the Disney side, they clearly can't go too low on the price because of other deals that they have with other larger providers today. So it's really a unique moment in time where Disney has the ability now to capture some of those lost subs on YouTube TV through their own services as well. So we'll wait to hear an update from Disney in terms of the strategy here, but we do expect a deal to happen sooner rather than later.